Tater, turn down a little bit. That's good.
Hey, I'll call you back in a few minutes. All right, I'll call you back in a few minutes. Okay.
98.3 FM and
1280 AM WJAY.
County of Marion's local gospel radio station.
98.3 FM, 1280 AM WJAY. Now,
It's time for Dee Sportswrap, covering high school sports in Marion County, South Carolina. Here's the host of Dee Sportswrap, Michael Jenkins.
Well, a wonderful good morning to everyone out there. Beautiful day it is. The sun has decided to hang out behind the clouds a little bit for the last few days and has cut back on that incredible heat we've been having. The corn crop was in serious jeopardy, but now that the rain has come, which I'm sure a lot of us prayed for. I know you prayed for it right here. You want the rain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, it's here.
Yeah.
And stuff is greening up again. And I think a lot of the corn crop that may have been lost before is now going to be saved. So it's great. It feels wonderful out there. Nice breeze, not too hot. It's wonderful. This week, I know a lot of the basketball fans are waiting for me to talk about how the Warriors got beat last night and have found themselves on the brink. And that's where they find themselves right now. And the Raptors have been outstanding throughout this playoff series. They have been the better team in just about every game. Cannot take anything away from them. Kawhi Leonard has been the best player on the floor every night almost. And the Raptors and Canada have an opportunity to become the first team outside of the United States to win an NBA championship. So stay tuned. One more game possibly, or if the Warriors can pull it off on Monday night, then the series gets much more interesting. But the way this game ended last night, it's going to be tough. Of course, everyone knows that Kevin Durant has not played during this series, and I personally think that would have made a tremendous difference. But he's not here, and you got to play with what you got. And right now, what they have is not good enough, or hasn't been good enough to beat the Toronto Raptors. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I spoke with the new head basketball coach, girls basketball coach of Marion High School. That would be Craston Davis, formerly the head boys coach at Creek Bridge High School. And so far the reviews are in and they are good. Had a good conversation with him the other day. I have him scheduled to come on the program at the end of the month, either live or through a call-in situation. But he told me that they had a workout last week and it went well. And most of the people that I spoke with in regards to that workout who were there told me that they were very impressed with what he has done and what he's doing so far, that the level of respect from the players is at a very good place right now, considering this is his first week on the job. Because there were some tough personalities to deal with on that team last year, and the two previous coaches really did not corral that where it could benefit the team. Marion girls had an outstanding year last year, but they were not the force that they were the year before. And I believe that discipline and togetherness as a team did not come shining through last year. I think that's what I came away with more than anything else. But Craston Davis is a disciplinarian, and that's the thing that I believe this team needs or needed more than almost anything else, because the talent was there. They're going into their junior year. This is that Jonathan class that I proclaim would win a state championship one day, maybe more. Well, they are juniors now. Excuse me. And they have not won a championship yet, even though they got to the lower state before Mullins beat them a year ago. So here we are again. Hopefully the focus could be better. Hopefully the overall direction and coaching could be better, because those girls are going to need that going forward. And I hope that it pays off for them. On the Mullins side, what I understand, the Mullins head boys basketball coaching job is being interviewed for now. It has been posted. You know, you go through the legal channels that you have to go through in order to hire someone. George Phillips wants to know, are you surprised the Raptors are playing like they deserve the championship? No, actually, I knew they were good. I just thought that the Warriors would be able to take them. But the Raptors are playing outstanding. That's George Phillips Jr. Let's see. As I said, the Mullins job is now being interviewed for. Hello, my wonderful niece, Shireen Maddox out there. Wow. That the Mullins job is now being interviewed for, and there's speculation as to who the coach would be. I can't say for sure who that is, but I'm speculating that it's going to be Eric Troy, but don't quote me on that. I think Eric will be a good choice. Stephen Smith, who, because of health reasons as much as anything else, is no longer going to be the Mullins head boys basketball coach. It's unfortunate because Stevie has been through a lot with illness, and he's just not healthy right now. I know that he still wanted to coach, but apparently, the administration want to move in another direction, for better or for worse. But I just hope that Stevie gets better so that he can function, in a way that is, fitting of a person who's healthier than he had been. And I just want him to get healthy, because he really has not been. So that's the opening to this thing. I'm supposed to have a guest here today. I won't call names, but it looks like I'm going to be stood up again. So I'm going to have to bring some things into the equation that may not have, that were just not on the front burner when I thought about coming here this morning. So I'm going to delve back into something that I had passed up on a few times. It's been in my briefcase now since March, and I think today might be the perfect time to dole it out, simply because I was expecting a guest and I don't have that guest today, so I'm going to have to fill some time here. And that is the all PD teams, boys and girls, as well as the statistics of this past basketball season and who did what. So first of all, I would like to give the Morning News Boys Basketball Player of the Year is a kid named Trey Hannibal. And Trey Hannibal is a star player of the Hartsville Red Foxes. And I got to see him play once this year, and that was against Wilson in a playoff game. And in that game, how many points did he get? He got 62 points or something like that, I believe it was. I saw Trey play last year. I was impressed with the way he played against Marion. But compared to how he played against Wilson in that playoff game, which turned out to be a loss, by the way, he was a man amongst boys. So Trey Hannibal is the 2018-2019 PD area Florence Morning News Player of the Year. Trey averaged 26.8 points per game, and he's taking his act on the road and play for the Gamecocks next year. At least that's what it's said to be. Justice Jackson. This is the team. This is the rest of the all PD team. Justice Jackson, whom I don't know, is a senior. Played at South Florence High School. 23 points, 2.1 steals per game. Dyrell McGee of Kingstree. I did see him play. 21 points per game, 3.5 steals. TJ Sanders, a guy that I got to see more than any other on this list. Of course, he's from Marion. He's just a sophomore, 19.5 points per game, 3.7 blocks per game, and a PD area leading 15 rebounds per game. Devin Daniels, Hannah Pamplico, senior, averaged 17.9 points per game, 2.2 steals, 6.2 rebounds. I did get to see Devin this year in Marion. He's an outstanding talent. I don't know where he's going to school, but it was fun watching him play. Darius Boatwright, a Dillon product who ended up at Wilson High School. Darius goes about 6'9" or something like that, a long string beam with skills, with a jump shot, handles, outstanding shot blocker as well, and rebounder. So Darius Boatwright last year averaged 12.9 points per game. I don't think he played the whole year. 2 blocks and 11 rebounds. His teammate on last year's Wilson team that went to the state finals but lost was Allen Williamson. Williamson is a player that I've watched over the last couple of years or so. He's always been an outstanding talent to me. Scored 18.1 points last year per game, 5.1 assists, and 2.6 steals. Now, this guy is about 6'6", 6'7", with handles, and can play a point guard position. Are we good?
I'm going to ask you a question when you finish.
Okay. You mean like right now?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why don't they have a ladies football team?
Football team.
Ladies playing football like men.
And do you really want to see that, Tater?
Well, there's some ladies out there can handle it like men. There are some ladies that's in good shape, I believe.
Well,
You ever thought about that?
Well, I thought about it, and the way I see it is this. I don't believe that men really should be playing football. That's how dangerous I think football is. For men to be playing it is bad enough. But for women, I can't see it being something that that people would want to. I don't know. Maybe they do. But what I'm saying is that over all these years, it could have happened, but it hasn't. You know, I remember around the PD area, there were certain schools that had girls on their roster. I don't know how much playing they did, but you're saying girls playing against girls?
Yeah.
Well, they have a couple of variations of that, but it's not exactly football. It's called the lingerie league. So, but other than that, do you want girls to play against men too?
Well, I don't know about all that. Well, there are some women that can handle men. There's some tough women out there.
There are some tough women. There are, and I'm sure that there are some that can handle it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the other players for the All PD team, Ty Johnson, the senior from Darlington. He's the little brother of Frankie Johnson, who went to the Citadel. Ty averaged 11.5, 5.3 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 2.7 steals per game for the Darlington Falcons. Jalen Coit is a young man that I didn't get to see in person last year, but I did get to see him on a live stream. And Jalen is an outstanding player. I think Jalen is going somewhere to play football, though. I think I saw that, but I'm not sure where off the top of my head. Stephon Green, Carvers Bay senior. Don't know that I've seen Carvers Bay last year either, but he's a senior, averaged 17.7 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks. Darius Taylor, a senior from Hemingway, a guy that I did see last year, who is an outstanding guard, great defender, outstanding ball handler, can score. He averaged 10.7 points per game, 3.2 assists. Darius Dawson, I don't know him, from West Florence High School, averaged 10.8 and 8.8 rebounds, while also contributing 1.6 blocks per game. Sabian Nero, another one from West Florence, whom I don't know, averaged 11.5 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, and 14 assists. Got to take a break, folks. Be right back.
What do you think about that, Mike?
Wednesday through Saturday.
There's some tomboy. I don't want to say there's some women like tomboy. There's some women tough. There are some women that are tough.
They are, but I don't know if they're that tough.
Oh, you might get broke up and get called.
Most of the men that I know aren't that tough. Football's a tough game, man. Football's brutal.
See, they already playing basketball, and a lot of them playing tennis like that. What's that girl name? The Williams girl?
Yeah, but basketball is not football. The object of football is to put somebody down on the ground.
And women might be out there fighting, so you might get mad.
Well, the men are fighting too, but I think football is just the most. It's just brutal. I just don't see it, especially playing against men. And I don't know if I want to see them play against women. I mean, a real football game.
Yeah, I'm
It's
saying
tough.
like women against women, like men against men on the football team. The women, yeah, that broad. I can get with some. All of them that wanted to volunteer, especially these young girls come up right now. I bet they'll do it. And now you talking about a crowd. Come to a football game.
I don't think they want to play no football, man. I think if women wanted to play football, they could have played it. I don't think they really have no interest in that. I really don't. Because if it was, they would be doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Good morning, Miss Platt. Good morning, my friend Dolores Williams. Good morning, Anthony Lester. I've already said hello to my niece, Shireen. Leslie Roberts Jr. is out there as well. What's up, everybody?
We often fail to realize that this is an important task. These decisions are much easier when made on a coordinated basis. At Ideal Funeral Parlor, the professional staff is committed to providing courteous services and assistance with pre-planning funeral arrangements. The loss of a loved one can be a devastating event. Let Ideal Funeral Parlor service your family with personalized service tailored to the needs of each individual family. Ideal Funeral Parlor, 106 East Dalton Street, Florence, South Carolina, or www.idealfuneral.com. For it's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us.
City Food and Spirits Restaurant, 1106 East Godbow Street, Marion, South Carolina.
Stop by City Food and Spirits for our breakfast and lunch buffet.
And we cook to order too.
City Food and Spirits
Is a fantastic place to go for breakfast or lunch. You know you're hungry, so go to
City Food and Spirits.
soul food like your mama cooks.
City Food and Spirits Restaurant, 1106 East Godbow Street, Marion, South Carolina.
Stop by. Food's ready.
98.3 FM, 1280 AM, WJAY.
This is Dee Sportswrap, highlights of Marion County High School sports. Please note, comments and feedback from callers and guests on PD Sportswrap are not necessarily those of the owners of WJAY or any of WJAY's advertisers, but are the perspectives of callers and guests of PD Sportswrap. Here's the host of the show, Michael Jenkins.
Listen, let me finish this list here because I got to go through the girls as well, and I want to get to some stats. But Stephon Green of Carvers Bay, I said I didn't know him. Okay, Kenyon Scott of Darlington. I don't know him either. He averaged 16.8, 2.6 assists per game. Davion Thomas of Lee Central, I didn't see them either. 14.7 points, 3.1 steals. 3.4 assists, 8.1 rebounds. That's very impressive. He's just a sophomore. So chances are we're going to be hearing about this guy going forward. Rasheem Lyde, I know of him. I've seen him play at Marion during the Christmas holidays. And he's an outstanding player, 12.6 points per game, 5.4 rebounds. Tyree Blue is from Lakeview. This is the kid they were telling me about, averaged 14.5 points 8.8 rebounds per game. He's a senior this year. And what do you know? Lakeview has 2 guys on the team, on the All-PD team. This is Hilshawn Bailey. He's just a sophomore, 10.7 points, 9.2 rebounds per game. Jordan Jones, excuse me, of Trinity Burns. He's a junior. Averaged 16.6, 1.9 assists per game. And Dasha Quavius Cooper of Hemingway. He's a junior. Averaged 9.5 points, 9.8 rebounds per game. Switching over to the girls' side, the player of the year is Loyal McQueen. Loyal is the Wilson junior guard, headed into her senior year. She was previously committed to the University of North Carolina, but they had a little problem up there. And I don't know where she is right now in terms of her decision, whether she's going to withdraw her commitment or what. But Sylvia Hatcher, who was the coach for North Carolina, is no longer there. She was kicked out the door. And I say kicked out the door. When they want you gone, they get you gone. That's just the bottom line. So Loyal is the player of the year in the PD. She's an outstanding talent, ball handler, shooter, passer. She's a savant out there on the floor. And I love her game. Wherever she ends up, she's going to thrive. Carly Barrett, Robert E. Lee sophomore, 13.7 points per game, 9.6 rebounds. Talasia Cooper, who, in my estimation, is, if she's not the best player in the PD, then she's right up there. She and Loyal neck and neck, but Loyal's a little bit ahead of her. Talisha is just a freshman, and she seems like she's been around forever. She's averaged 26.4 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, 5.8 steals, 1.8 block shots. And Mullins put her in a straitjacket in that lower state, and that's what got them out of the tournament. But there's no taking away from her talents and her abilities and her upside. I'm thinking WNBA. I'm thinking quite possibly Loyal McQueen could also be WNBA. But Talisha has the size and the height, and she's just a freshman, and she's going to be a problem going forward. Nyasia Graham of Johnsonville, sophomore. I think I got to see her last year, 9.1 points per game, 13.1. Oh, that's the big girl from Johnsonville. She's going to be a baller. Average 13.1 rebounds, 4.9 blocks per game. Jada Nolan is outstanding player for Wilson. I've been watching her for the last couple of years as well. She's a senior this year, 10.5 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, 3.2 steals per game, 1.5 blocks per game. Jada had an outstanding senior season. Nairi Coe of Lamar, I did not see her, but apparently she's got skills. Averaged 23.4 points per game, 3.3 assists, 3.7 steals. This is one that I do know, and that's Jalea Nichols. And she's one of my favorite players ever around here. She plays for Mullins. She's a junior this year. Averaged 17.3 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 4.3 steals, and 2 blocks per game. Jalea plays the whole floor. But you know what? Is Jalea a junior this year? I thought she was a sophomore. Anyway, whatever. Her teammate, Janelle Sindab from Mullins, averaged 14.9 points per game. And she had an outstanding career at Mullins. They won state championship once, and I believe they went 3 times. So, Janelle Sindab, congratulations and good luck in the future. Janiyah Waters, and I do know her. I got to see her as like a 7th or 8th grader at Lakeview, and she is off the chain too. She's going to be one of the special players going forward. She averaged 12.7 points per game last year as a freshman. Jakiah Bell from Dillon, superstar from Dillon with Marion connections, averaged 17.1 points per game, 6 assists, and 4.8 steals. And I've been watching her for the last couple of years as well, and she is everything she's cracked up to be. Now, this little girl right here, Michaela Commander, I got to meet her a couple of years ago when she was probably freshman. She's an outstanding talent as well for Timminsville Lady Whirlwinds. She's just a junior this year. She averaged 15.6 points per game, 9-point rebounds, 4.6 assists. Are you getting where I'm coming from with this girl? She can flat play. And she's like a big girl. You don't expect her to be able to do all these things, but she's got all the tools. Zoe Cawthon of Florence Christian. She's a senior, 11.9 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, 4.3 blocks, and 2.6 steals per game. Ayanna Lucas, Lee Central, 12.3 points per game, 8.8 rebounds. She's a senior. Moya McDuffie, I have seen Moya, and I've always been impressed with her game. And she's just a sophomore this year, but she is speed on speed. You got to see this girl play. Moya McDuffie's no plaything. She averaged 16.2 points per game. Mariah Moody, sophomore of Marion, 12.8 points per game. One of the outstanding talents around here, one of the outstanding talents with the Lady Swamp Foxes. How she goes is going to mean a lot in terms of how Marion does next year and the year after, because she's a very big part of that team. Alena Thomas of Timminsville, she's a senior, averaged 14.9 points, 14 blocks, and 10.3 rebounds. Wow, I missed her last year. What's this? Taylor, spelled Teiglhlor. Taylor. Whatever. She's from Trinity Burns. She's a junior, averaged 15.7 points per game. Geronda McCrimmon of Dillon. Oh, I know her. She's pretty decent too. Averaged 9.1 points per game, 11 blocks, and 7.9 rebounds. Misha Jones of Manning averaged 11.2, 5.7 steals, 1.5 blocks, 10.2 rebounds per game. Jasmine Norman of Marlborough County, she's a sophomore, and I did see her play last year, I believe in the Christmas tournament in Marion, and I came away very impressed with her. So those are your all PD teams. Now, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to briefly browse down the scoring per game list for some of the people that didn't make the all PD team. Trey Hannibal led the PD in scoring with 26.8 points per game. Justin Jackson of South Florence averaged 23 points a game. Dyrell McGee of King's Academy averaged 21. TJ Sanders of Marion averaged 19.5. Natchez Alston of King averaged 18.9. Devin Daniels of Hannah Pamplico averaged 17.9. Kenyon Scott of Darlington averaged 16.8. Savion Graves of Johnsonville averaged 14.7. The blue kid from Lakeview averaged 14.5. Corey Graham of Manning averaged 14.2. Now that Manning team, this Israel Brown, Manning is a team that really kind of stumbled last year when they could have been on their way to state, but that lower state game, man, they just pretty much gave the game away. They had size, they had everything. Let's see. Corey Graham, he averaged 14.2. His running buddy, Israel Brown averaged 14.1. Quez Lewis averaged 13.6. CJ Gilchrist of Mullins averaged 13.6. Christian Taylor of Timminsville averaged 13. Browsing further down the list, we have Jordan Brantley, 12.6 for Mullins. Mac Washington, 12 points for Marion. And that's it for the local. I'm going to have to cut it short right there. Am I about done here?
Yeah, 1 minute.
1 minute to go. So I'm going to go to the rebounding and say TJ Sanders led the PD in rebounds with 15. The next closest guy was 11.9. Looking at steals, Saquon McCullough of Marion, 3.5 steals per game. Blocks per game, TJ Sanders led the PD with 3.7. In girls action, Talasia Cooper had 26.4 a game. Laura McQueen averaged 25. They were 1-2. That Nairi Cole averaged 23. Jaquel Bell, she averaged 16. Is it 16.2? No, she averaged 17.1. McDuffie averaged 16.2. So that's about it, folks. I know that the Warriors are in trouble, but I can hope that they could get me at least one more game in here, and then we'll see what happens. But I'm not very confident in that right now. The Raptors look tough. So if they bow out, we'll have to just get ready for next year and see what happens. Maybe we can corral some people that could get the champs back in the winner's circle. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Have a wonderful week. Later. I'm out.
PD Sports Wrap is an overview of high school sports in Marion County, South Carolina.
Well, my
Join
dad,
us
sports
again
kind of calmed
next
down down the
time
school
for
stuff back
PD
in.
Sports Wrap.
98.3 FM, 1280 AM, WJAY.
98.3 FM and
80 AM.